Hello, happiness abounders, and welcome back. Today, we're going to dive right into how we can craft a positive mindset so that we can have that next level of intellectual self-care. So that said, let's dive right in. And I want to dive in with a story, so bear with me for a second. About a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, I went to an event. And I was really excited for this event. I had gotten some tickets, and it was to hear someone speak who is very well recommended. And so I'm the kind of person who likes to go there early, likes to get in the front, get, full blast of information. So I show up, and this event says it's supposed to start at 8:30. So I show up at 8:15 so I can be there early, get a good seat, be one of the first in the door, and it's a ghost town. So then I'm worried that I have the wrong day, I have the wrong venue, that it started earlier and now I'm late, that it got canceled, right? My brain's going in all these different directions. Turns out that they decided that it started at 9 and told everyone 8:30 so that they could all be on time. Which to me felt a lot like getting punished for being punctual. Because now suddenly what was going to be a 15-minute wait was a 45-minute wait because I wanted to be present and in attendance and early. Now, some of you may be like, yeah, no big deal. Other people of you, the type A's like me, may be like, oh my gosh. And that's really what it was. To me, it was a, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm getting punished. And then a couple of other things happened before the event even started that I was like, I was on edge. It was the kind of thing that some of you may know this, I actually used to do wedding and event planning. And so the customer service aspect of running an event and purposefully starting later, a half hour later than the time that you told everyone, is the kind of thing that has me really set on edge. So I was pretty upset. I was pretty upset that I had skipped my breakfast because I wanted to be there so badly, that I had 45 minutes extra I could have gone and gotten breakfast. And like I said, a couple of other little things happened that just, mentally, I was not in a very great space to be going to a conference to learn about self-development. So I get into the room, 45 minutes later, I get into the room and I'm surrounded by people. There's people on both sides of me. And at that point, I didn't want to be there. Did not care to be there. Was pretty upset about being there. And was like, am I really going to waste my Saturday on this event that obviously in the first 45 minutes kind of sucks? Obviously doesn't care about my time, doesn't care about my management, punishing me for being more than punctual, right? I had this really negative mindset. But this is where it comes back to intellectual self-care. As I was sitting there, I realized a couple of things. One, I realized that I could leave and I might miss out on some good stuff. But most importantly, I realized that if I was going to stay and that I wanted to stay because there was something I could learn, if I wanted to stay, I was going to have to turn my mental attitude around real quick for a couple of reasons. One, I had people next to me. They were here. They were excited. They hadn't been waiting for 45 minutes. They knew that this particular event always says the wrong time, which blows my mind, but that's okay. And so I was like, there's these people next to me, and they're here to have a good time, and they're here to learn, and I'm putting off this energy that I am livid, because I am. And I realized that for them to have a good time and for me to be able to learn from the situation, even if it was just learning how to craft a positive mindset, I needed to turn things around. So I started thinking about what I could learn from this event. And not what I could learn from the person speaking per se, because I didn't know what they were going to be talking about, other than a general self-development. But I decided, what could I learn from this? One, I could learn that for my events, I would never do that unless it was an absolute emergency that we needed to push the conference or the class. Two, I learned that I should always be very clear about the start time And if someone comes late, this is number 3, if someone comes late, that's okay. They're there. They're going to get something out of it regardless, whether they've been there the whole time or not. And I wasn't going to let my ego have me lie to my attendees so that they would be there on time. That was not my job. So I learned quite a few things in those first 45 minutes of standing there, waiting to go in. I learned about the panic people can feel when it's a ghost town and there's nobody at the front desk. Am I in the right spot? Did it start already? Did it get canceled? Am I late? Right? So I learned so much. And by being able to see what I learned from this and how I could make it applicable in my life, or in this case, my events, I was able to craft a positive mindset. I was able to come down off of that anger ladder and then start to interact with the people around me. Then I started looking for other things. I started being like, what else could I learn? I could learn that they kicked it off with everybody like getting up and moving and introducing themselves, which was a great way to get everybody's mind in the right space and physically get them aware. So I took note of that. Took note of a couple of things that they said when they spoke and how they said it. And then the actual content that they actually presented. I was able to learn from that as well. But if I had stayed in that mindset and I wasn't looking for the opportunity to learn and to grow in one shape, form, or another, right? I went there expecting to grow, to learn from the speaker. That entire morning, I learned what not to do. But it still was an opportunity to learn and to grow. And when I can get into the mindset of that, all that negative, those negative thoughts, that anger, that victim mentality that I had of like, how dare they do this to me, went away. And then I took it to the next level of crafting a positive mindset for intellectual self-care. I started listing out the things I was grateful for. I was grateful I had a full Saturday I could go and do this. I was grateful, and this may sound silly, I was grateful that I had the tools to be able to look at around me and look at all of the things that had happened and be able to learn and to grow from them. That's what I was grateful for. And those small shifts of what can I learn, how can I grow from this in any way, shape, or form, and then being grateful for that opportunity made all the difference in shifting my mindset in a situation that, like I said, to some of you, you may be like, really? And to other of you, you may be like, I feel you, girl. But truth be told, I had to change my mindset if I was going to stay there. And that's how I changed it. So in the story here, and in our discussion about intellectual self-care, it goes all the way back to the first episode of this theme week, which is all about focusing on learning and growing, and then partnering that with gratitude. If you can do that in any situation, how can I learn and grow from this? How can the people around me be changed by this? What would I do differently? What would I do the same? How can I learn and grow? And then how can I be grateful for the situation? That silver lining, if you will. That is intellectual self-care in the moment, and that is the fastest way to craft a positive mindset. Now, you can't do it sarcastically. It's got to be legit. Okay, what am I learning from this? I'm learning that I don't like how this feels, so I will always start my events on the time that I say I start my events. I don't like how this feels, and I feel like it's an ego trip for the speaker, so if someone comes late, that's not my problem when someone comes late to my events, and I will give them everything I've got, whether they're there for the full hour or they're there for 5 minutes, right? I learned all these little things out of this one experience, and I'm so grateful I had it, even though I was so angry and upset about it when it first happened. So as a form of intellectual self-care, no matter what you are doing in your life, wherever the situation is that's got you in that negative mindset, practice some of that intellectual self-care by crafting a positive mindset, turning things around, and looking for the opportunities of growth and learning, and then finding ways to be grateful for those opportunities and for what you learned. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I hope that you accept that challenge of looking at your life, looking at these situations. If you are interested in learning more and taking things to the next level, check out happinessabound.com. Click on mentoring and check out my mentoring packages. This is something I really hone in with my clients, and I would love to help you too. So that said, have a wonderful day, And remember, you are capable of happiness abound.